Like coming back from the cave of the artifacts of the previous civilization that contradicts the dogma of the contemporary world, namely the artifacts of the medicinal cannabis before it was taken off the market, when it was still available to the physician for prescribing. And all the literature that I'd reviewed of the 90 years or 100 years of the medicinal use of my forebears. And so I have confidence. I know I'm not wrong because of having the previous observations of physicians who may not have been technically or technologically advanced, but they weren't stupid and they were very observant. They were good clinicians because that's all they had was their senses and experience.
Terence Hallinan is the most uncorrupted person in political office today. There is no love or money that can ever erode his idea of ethics and morality under any circumstance. My friend,
just keep my mouth shut. A little bit like the case that we just wound up down in Los Angeles with the killer dog that we had such great success on, and after that I sometimes feel, well, geez, where am I going from here? It's hard to do better than that. And by the way, I'd like to introduce the chief of my homicide division, Jim Hammer, who tried successfully.
Spread the word, what we learned in the DC initiative. You know, those guys argue with Bill Zimmer and AMR. They pulled off something there, and they shook the flesh, and they met thousands of people. What I'm not going to do, if it's necessary for morale to say, we're going to win, we're going to win, we're going to win, okay, then we're going to win. But I have to be realistic about what we can really do and what the money will come behind, what we can reach for today and tomorrow and next year, so that in a few years we really do have a shot to grab the gold ring. And you know, we got to watch the flanks. Watch our flanks. You know, right now, remember what happened in the late 70s? There was also a woman named Susan Ruche and a lot of other people who came up, and they had something that said, hang on, they had polls that showed that 10 to 12% of high school seniors were smoking pot every day. And a lot of parents were scared to death. When you see the age...
Especially that also depressed patients frequently. Everybody responds differently, bell-shaped curves. But in general, I think I can make that distinction of relieving the other drying up effects of the opiates on different glands.
Mm-hmm. How about multiple sclerosis? If you ever...
Okay, the multiple sclerosis is a perfect prototype of this type of chronic inflammatory autoimmune condition that the interventions with the steroids and the muscle relaxants are just grotesquely inferior to cannabis. Cannabis is effective at a much lower, almost homeopathic level for some people with MS. And this general specific organ inappropriate inflammatory behavior by the immune system is interdicted by cannabis.
From anything known about them, descriptions of their flavors, the effects, but mostly just showcasing the beautiful plant. Is easily nature's most beautiful plant, and it really needed to be seen in all of its glory. You know, this is the most diverse, beautiful, wonderful plant on this planet, and millions and hundreds and millions and billions of people believe that, and nothing had ever been done to really, you know, show all the different varieties. And so I took it upon my life goal to document as many of them as possible. And this is volume number 1. I'm finishing up volume number 2 now, which is going to be even better. So I'm really excited about that.
You know, Jason, as more and more people are interested in biology and biochemistry and genetics and
Point out, I mean, if you think about something, just the whole wine industry and all the wine connoisseurs out there, and really all they're really discerning is flavor. It's all the same drunk. You don't really hear wine connoisseurs saying, oh man, that Chardonnay packed a great buzz, you know. So it's all the same. With marijuana connoisseurship, we're treated to a whole other level of appreciating that goes so much beyond wine or any other thing that people can be a connoisseur of. There are more flavors in marijuana than are in food, you know, and it's hard to describe them because they don't exist elsewhere in nature, so it comes to making up words, I guess, you know.
Can you give me an example? What was that?
That was in 1999, actually, the first time industrial hemp was grown legally with DEA permission. A DEA permit was obtained with the help of our state representative, Cynthia Thielen. She was very active with the sponsorship of a company called Alterna to establish a hemp seed breeding research project here in Hawaii.
And so, what's happened? What's taken place since that?
Well, actually, I'm not sure if you're aware of the DEA requirements for growing hemp. They're the same as growing or producing or manufacturing any other Schedule I controlled substance. So if you were going to go into the business of making heroin, or if you wanted to go into the business of being a hemp grower, right now, because of the way the DEA views the cannabis plant and all aspects of it as being within Schedule I under the Controlled Substances Act, you have to comply with the same regulations. So,
so I made that happen and showed him how to accept the separation of the benefits of the separation of church and state where it comes to cannabis sacrament is concerned. So Frederick got the paperwork in his hands, in his wallet, and then was out enjoying his life when he got stopped at a roadblock, a traffic stop, and he can tell the story from here. What his experience was at that traffic
How long
stop.
ago was this, Fred?
Oh, it's about 3 or 4 weeks now.
Mm-hmm, about 3 weeks.
Yeah, about 3 weeks it happened. Came to a traffic stop. I guess when they check, the registration, make sure everything's okay with the car.
Here in Hilo?
Yeah, right in Hilo, going down to 4 miles. So there was a little roadblock, and they stopped it, and they saw my little joint or whatever. So they asked me to step out the car, and they searched my car. And when they searched my car, I just gave my wallet. They look at my THC ministry card, and honestly, the police officer said he don't even want to deal with it. He just gave me my card, my joint back, and told me to leave. He said he didn't want to deal with the paperwork, and just told me to leave.
You're kidding.
I swear. He said he don't even want to deal with it, and just left. He just told me to go.
Now, did he find your THC ministry card, or did you bust your THC
No,
ministry card out?
He opened my wallet.
He did.
Yeah, he opened my wallet because I was still, he was searching me, and I can't move. And he busted out, and he seen it himself, and he looked at it, showed him my ID with it, and he said he don't even want to deal with the paperwork.
Really?
And he said, just go. I didn't want to deal with the paperwork because my license, everything was concurrent with the car. And he said he didn't want to deal with it, so he just left.
Really?
So he said, just go.
That's pretty incredible.
I thought so too.
Really?
Because I'm going to be honest, my heart was pumping for a minute. But I was like, oh, cool. Well, I could go ahead and smoke my joint.
So are other are immune to the
Prosecution?
to the pharmacratic inquisition.
Democratic Inquisition, that's right. And the botanical messiah can grow freely in the open sunshine. That's true. It's
And so how's this freedom, tell me your conceptual, I mean, how does belonging to the THC ministry keep people from being arrested and thrown in jail?
It's called a defense to prosecution. I've created a defense to prosecution while we're in the activity of attempting to legalize cannabis for all its many blessings, from industrial hemp to medical marijuana to full-on religious use. There's a way to anchor in, I believe, in individuals my own right to cultivate and use cannabis, and that's through the benefits of the First Amendment and the separation of church and state. And I found it to be real. I actually have found it. I've tested it with both feet in the water here, and under arrest conditions, the paperwork that I've created, the ID cards, the plant tags, the sanctuary sign, and other parts of the cannabis sanctuary